Hello friends, this is Growl. Welcome to Wafflecat Weekly number 9. This is where we open our vaults, talk about the weekly affixes, talk about what's going on with the channel, and go from there. So not much is going on in Azeroth lately. We're kind of in this quiet lull where everyone's waiting for 9.2, so I think you guys might relate. I haven't been playing as much lately. We did a little bit of key gaming. We did manage to sneak in a few bosses in the raid on our pally, so at least we got some box opening to do. So let's go ahead and do that. We started gearing up our monk at some point, but we haven't had very much luck. I think our last 3 or 4 boxes have been pretty junky. I've been trying to replace this trinket for a long time. There's just not too many good healing trinkets in Shadowlands. So this is a crit mastery weapon, and I have a verse mastery staff. I'm just gonna take this anyway. Let me check my inventory. Do I have one of these already? There might be some world where I use this, since you do want to have a lot of crit. I don't like that it's high mastery, but indestructible doesn't matter too much on my Mistweaver because I never die, so it doesn't really matter too much, but we'll take that anyway. Maybe we find a good offhand that we can pair that with at some point. I have mail. I think it's just gold. Let's check out our... The more I've been thinking about it, the more I really want to try and push keys on Druid next season. I hope that the... Like, I don't think Druid is bad right now, but I guess we shouldn't talk about Druid yet. We'll wait till we get to the Druid to talk about Druid. Here's our archive research from last week. Verse mastery belt with a socket, and I'm using a verse mastery belt without a socket. I guess we take it. It is technically an upgrade. I'm sure I have enough research that I could go farm out these sockets, and I'd kind of rather have the high verse belt, but for now we're only doing weekly 15s anyways, so we can do one of these. We can throw a haste gem in there. Our haste is actually really low on this guy. We were doing some high necrotic wakes last week, and holy moly, is that dungeon hard without a priest. Normally you can use priest with to be able to mind control the flesh crafter, to be able to use it on the last boss, but man, is it tough without a flesh crafter. So I think maybe it might be a thing that I might need to gear up my priest and have it ready to be able to play for necrotic wake on live keys. Would be cool if we are trying to go for like the rank 1 team or whatever, because man, doing necrotic wake without a priest after doing it on in MDI is so rough. But all right, 2 for 2 on upgrades that, or I mean items that we maybe could possibly use. So now on to Druid. As I was saying, I really enjoy playing Druid lately, and it would be cool if I get to play Druid next year. I don't think Druid is that far behind now, but the Druid tier sets compared to the Paladin tier sets and Shaman ones, and compared to the double Legos, I think Druid is going to fall further behind. So I kind of want to see like some sort of an aura damage buff, just like double the damage of Sunfire and call it good. Give us high noon or something again. Alright, so our Druid is definitely looking to replace this trinket. All my healers just have junk trinkets. A good tip, by the way, if you're really stuck with junk trinkets, if you can, is put your loot spec to DPS. Because if you have like a really junky trinket like this that you never even use anyway, you may as well just get like a random DPS trinket, because at least it'll help a little bit with your damage. And there's way more like decent DPS trinkets than there are good healer trinkets in dungeons right now. So on all my guys that I can open on DPS spec, at least if it has an int DPS spec, I do. All right, so we got crit verse boots. We already have crit haste. I love haste. Looks like this will be our first tokens that we take. But yeah, I've been missing playing my Druid. Hopefully we, like, when I say that I think Druid needs some changes, I don't even really think it needs changes right now. It's really good right now. It's just, I think it'll fall behind next patch is the problem. One can only hope. Let's all got our shaman. Let's see how our shaman's doing. I think we did at least 5 or 6 keys. Here, let's check our mail real quick. We should have like, I think 600k in the mail. We're doing some Azeroth drug dealing. Go. Selling the goods. Alright, let's open our vault. I'm on restoration spec. Do I want... I guess it doesn't matter because my trinkets on this guy are insanely strong. I don't even know if there's that much that my shaman needs. My shaman's gear is actually really good. Minus the raid loot. I just need raid loot on this guy. Oh, we only did 1 key on our shaman last week? Really? No way. I feel like we did a lot of keys on our shaman last week. Well, that's unfortunate. I already have these tokens in my inventory. No, okay. I thought we did more. Can I open the vault again? No, okay. I could have sworn that I logged on my shaman yesterday and I had like 5 keys done, but unlucky. That's all right. Our poor shaman. Really what we need is we need to get our shoulders on our paladin, and then I can sneak my shaman into raid. If I can get shoulders on the raid shoulders on my pally, it's pretty much done. And we have another shot on him. We haven't raided the last couple weeks, but we did sneak into an optional raid yesterday to get 2 boxes. So hopefully one of those will be the shoulders that we need, and that'll be big. We need to make sure we're in the right loot spec. Okay, we're in holy loot spec. There's not really too much we need. We could get an upgrade of this, sort of, if we get a 252 one of these rings, but that barely is anything. I don't even know if I would use a 252 changeling because this has leech. And the only item we really need is the verse mat, the haste verse shoulders, but those are very, very strong. And otherwise we just need leecher avoidance on an item to make it worth using, just because our gear on this guy is so good. Well, here goes nothing. Let's go shoulders. Right here. Unlucky. Let's see what we got. So this trinket is pretty junk. This belt is junk. This is good for raid, I think. I think you're supposed to use this trinket for raid, like for your Ashens. It's really strong. We don't need these boots. We have, I mean, a 252 changeling. A lot of people are probably mad about this. I already have a 246 with leech. I guess I just take the changeling anyway. Why not, you know? Why not just have a 246 changeling with leech and a 252 changeling? Why not just have both of them, you know? I don't know if I'll use it, but having a ruby from your weekly chest and a changeling from your weekly chest is pretty nice. But to be fair, I've been doing like 10 keys a week on this guy for months and months and months, so it's not that crazy. All right, so let's take a look at the affixes. So is it, I think it's still Legion time walking, right? Do I have my key in my inventory? There's not really too much to talk about Legion. I think everyone is sort of already burned out on Legion keys. The only people that I see doing Legion keys now are people farming the items. There's a few groups in there doing them, but for the most part, I think people are already done with Legion keys, which is kind of an interesting to think about. The first week Legion was out, everyone talked about how great they were and how much better Legion dungeons were, but everyone is basically done with them already after 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe it's just because there's no incentive to do them, but like there's nobody in here is doing Legion keys. So I don't really have that strong of an opinion on it. Like for me, I'm definitely a little bit more goal driven. So the fact that there's no like they just go away and no one cares about them again makes me not really that excited to play them. Like I know Raider IO is doing a little bit of a leaderboard or whatever. So So this week's affixes are Fortified, Inspiring, Grievous, Tormented. So the last 2 weeks that we had were very, very strong for pushing. So hopefully you guys got some big IO on this week. Let's open up Raider IO and we can talk about the Tormented Hero title too. Because I think while it doesn't impact a lot of people, it's something that, you know, people might care about a little bit. So here's the cutoffs for rating right now. This is in US. I think EU is a little bit higher. Quite a bit higher, actually, a few keys higher. So in Horde US, you need roughly 2,800 to get the title. And I think this is going to keep going up slowly. This is pretty dang high. 2,800 is not easy to achieve. If you achieved 2,800 score, very good on you. And top 1% is 2,500. So even 2,500 is like, you know, good job. But I think these 2 weeks were probably the best, the last good chance to push keys this season. I kind of expect that 9.2 is going to get announced soon after New Year's, and we might see a little bit more raid testing. I kind of expect it to be like somewhere in February, so I don't think we're going to see these 2 weeks again. So looking ahead, the next like pair of push weeks I kind of see are week 8 and week 9. So this is Bursting Volcanic Torment, Tyrannical. This is a great Tyrannical week. So if you need some Tyrannical keys, you can hold out for this one. This will be probably near the end of the season, and you'll be able to sneak this one in. And then right after that is Spiteful Grievous, which isn't great, but it's okay. Like, it's not super tough. So if you miss these two, hopefully you got some big score these 2 weeks, but if you did happen to miss them, there is still hope. I think you'll probably get to see these again. But right now we're on Inspiring Grievous. Grievous is a little bit annoying. It makes the mini bosses really tough, especially the fire guy in Varuth, especially Varuth. So this is a week where you want to be willing to use cooldowns on these mini bosses because Grievous affects them. And it can be really hard. Like with the healing reduction from Varuth, you need to top everyone really quick. So don't feel too bad about just slamming cooldowns, like even really big stuff like Ashen or you know, Ascendance and everything into these guys just to try and kill them because they can get really tough. Inspiring is an affix that pugs sort of ignore. There's a few situations where Inspiring can be really nasty, so you do have to watch out for them. One of them that I always run into is Theater of Pain. I think this pack is Inspiring, and on Fortified it can be really scary. Let's see, change this. Yeah, so this guy you won't be able to kick. Some groups like to CC this guy and then just pull these two. Sort of an option. Another area that Inspiring is really rough is in here, because these sludge spewers, if you aren't interrupting these, are really nasty. So Theater of Pain can be a dungeon where you have to be quite a bit careful of these Inspiring. All in all, I would say just be a little bit more careful with the way that you build your group comp for dungeons. You know, like if you go into halls, just, you know, don't make sure you have a Venthyr. Like, it's nice too if you have some immunes so you can deal with Varuth and some of the other stuff. If you go into Theater of Pain, you definitely want at least one disease dispel, and having like 2 or 3 disease dispels is really strong too, in case these casts go off. You know, make sure you have a Necrolord to get the banner. Just take a little bit of time to make sure that you have good stuff for the dungeons. Necrotic Wakes should be pretty easy this week. You basically just mow over all of the beginning area with all the weapons and the orbs and stuff. Necrotic Wake gets much harder on Tyrannical because you have to, you know, the only fights that you're essentially doing in Necrotic Wake are the bosses. You can go in a straight line for the most part. Spires is another dungeon that gets really annoying on Inspiring, just because there's so many mobs that you have to kick. So in a pack like this, for example, you almost always want to CC this one inspired guy and then pull everything else separate. if you're in a really low level key, you can just kind of blast it all down. But like this Goliath, you need to interrupt every single cast. These castigators too, you need to interrupt the cast. There's something that's inspired in this pack. I don't know what it is, but all these packs that have like one inspired mob, it's usually a good idea to just CC them and just pull the pack separately. It's gonna be slow and it's gonna be annoying. You know, again, like this pull, you can CC this guy and then fight everything else. But yeah, Spires is one of the dungeons where you have to be a lot more careful about inspiring. Sanguine, I don't think is too bad. I keep having to switch my thing. The ticks can be a little bit annoying if they build up stacks because you can't stop them. So what you can do is like Typhoon or like taunt this guy away and then interrupt all the other ticks and just kind of, yeah. So inspiring, it's like medium. The Miss Maze inspiring is really annoying too when you get these packs that have like the Shaper and another tender. You're not going to be able to kick the Shaper, so make sure you have a guy ready to purge. You can purge the Shaper shield, but yeah, just take your time. It is fortified, so the bosses should die pretty quick. Just got to make sure you're dealing with the dungeon, and it's not going to be the greatest week to push, but at the same time it's doable. You know, if you're still trying to get your portals or you're still trying to get your KSM or whatever your goals are, it's still definitely reasonable. For sure, people are going to be doing 26s, 27s this week, so it's not the super end of the world. That about wraps up my thoughts on the affixes. We opened all of our boxes. Not much exciting, but a few items that we might use. As I mentioned, there just hasn't been a lot going on in WoW lately, so I've been streaming a little bit less. I'm still going to be doing my regular video series where I my 0 to KSM character. I'm still going to be trying to fit in some coaching vids and some other vids there, so I hope to still maintain, you know, 2 to 3 vids a week on YouTube and still stream at least like 2 or 3 days a week if there is some content, if there is some people to play with. But right now everyone's just kind of chilling and vibing with the holidays, and I'm kind of doing the same. So if you guys are hopefully you guys are staying cozy, and I appreciate you guys hanging out and making it to the end of the video, and look forward to a new 0 to Hero vid probably coming out tomorrow. Take it easy, friends. Good luck out there. Happy New Year's and holidays and stuff, and most importantly, happy keying.